Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. Welcome to another Stamp Happy Holidays video. And today I have two fun fold cards for you that can go together fairly quickly. So if you still want to send a fun fold card to your friends and family, it is not too late. You can choose one of these or another one, but these do go together rather quickly. And this one, I call it a classic fun fold. It is a joy fold card. You open it, and then inside is your message. You can close it back up. So it's basically a card with half a card front and then a smaller card that opens opposite of what we would expect. So here's this one. And this one is somewhat similar to a joy fold. I call it a cut and flip flap card because you cut the front of the card base in half, flip that piece around, and use it for a flap to put your focal image and message on. And then you open it up, and there's place for a message inside. So we'll walk through how to make these two cards, and we'll start with the Joy Fold card. I have lots of pieces here, and this is the card base. And I need to read because I'll probably tell you the wrong measurements. But all of the measurements and supplies you'll need to make these cards will be found on my corresponding blog post. And the link to that blog post is in the description of this video. So this card base is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to score it at 2 3/4 inches along this 8 1/4 inch side. So I have my paper trimmer here, and we're going to use the scoring blade. So we'll get the cutting blade out of the way. Here's the score blade, and we are going to score, like I said, at 2 3/4. We'll move it over to 2 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and score. Going to take that, get our bone folder, and make a nice crisp crease. And there's that. And then for this part of the card, it can be any size you want. The first Joy Fold cards I made it 3 inches. So it was 6 inches long by 3 inches tall. And I scored it at 3 inches. And I would have a nice little square centerpiece. This one is 6 inches by 3 3/4. And I scored it at 3. And I did that to accommodate the size of my image. The image that I have for this card is just a bit wider. It's right here. It's these cute little cows. And so I cut my card at 7 inches by, I don't remember if this was 3 3/4. Yes, 7 by 3 3/4. So that meant I scored it at 3 1/2. And we'll get the little card that will go right here. But first we're going to put some pattern paper on it. And we also have a piece for the inside. It will go right in here. Then we have a greeting for the outside. We have some pattern paper and our image that will go on the front with our greeting. So let's just put this right together. Now, like I say, your little small card on the Joy Fold, the size of it will vary and can vary based on the size of your image. You want to make sure not to get it too awfully big. And for the most part, I don't think you will. Most images will fit fairly easily on a 3x3 or a 3.5 inch wide or 3 3/4, something like that. So there's that piece. And this goes on the inside. And these cards that we're making in the video, I actually was able to use up some more scraps from that little bag of scraps I have. So that made me happy. So there's that. Now we'll put this smaller card together. Remember, it's going to open from the right, opposite of what our cards usually open from. So our sentiment will go on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to go ahead, well, no, let's put the little focal image on here. Sometimes it's easier to go ahead and put your card on, but I think I'll put the focal image on it first and then, so get this centered on here. And then we just want to kind of center it as best we can. And what I do when I get it centered, I hold it. I think it needs moved a little. And then I put my adhesive, glue, whatever you're going to use, on the back. I hold it in place, fold this over, and press. And there is that. Now we just need to put this, and I'm not really sure. It was a little larger than I thought. I think I'll put it right there. I think I'll just use glue. For the little cows, they are stacked, which means when I die cut the image, I used some plain paper and die cut, I believe, 3 more images, just glued all those together in a stack. We've talked about that before, to just give some dimension. I kind of like to do that with Christmas cards a lot of times, especially that have the larger images, because they're going to go through the post office and through the rollers. And I just think the stacked images stay on better than the ones with dimensionals. So here we come a-caroling. Mooey Christmas and Happy Moo Year. So there you go. That's a cute little card for someone in your life who raises cows or has a liking for them. And here's the one I made with the penguin. And those are the Joyfold cards. Now we'll move over. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. And we'll do the cut and flip flap card, because we're going to cut the flap and flip it so it makes this nice little piece here. So let me get the pieces for that. Got lots of pieces. For this one, we're going to use a little polar bear and some pieces for the outside, the inside, just all kinds of things. So this is an 11 by 4 1/4 inch card base. And what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to score it first, or do I want to, yeah, let's score it. Let's score it at 5.5, just like for a regular card. And then you have options. I'm going to just put it back in here, and I'm going to cut it Yes, cut it at 2 3/4. Again, basically, we're just cutting half the front off. So we've cut our flap, and we're going to flip it and put it on our card. Instead of it being vertical, it's going to be horizontal. So now we just need to do some folding. Get the bone folder. Then we're going to assemble the card. So I'm going to start by putting this nice paper in here. Have some planets on the back. This is some Stampin' Up! Pattern paper. It's retired now, but I sure did have a fun time with it. Now I just have scraps. And I'm able to put them to some good use. I encourage you to get out whatever scraps of paper you have that would be appropriate for your cards and put them to good use as well. I forgot to cut out the paper for here. Well, that's not good. That's okay. We'll just move on. So, what I would do... Oh, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. That needs to be this. So anyway, here's my background for this flap. And it needs to be, this is our flap. This needs to be put on our flap. And then this would be adhered right here. And you know what? I'm going to put temporary adhesive. And then after the video, I will put the piece of pattern paper that's supposed to be there. And I will put a picture of it on my blog so you can see how it looks finished the correct way. So here, so we have the temporary adhesive. And we know we're only going to put it on the back of the left side. So you can center it. And then we'll put our bear on here. Now I cut this out of some different pattern paper. These little icebergs and this little ice float here. And I have my polar bear. This piece right here is on dimensionals. So I have a dimensional on my polar bear's head, but down here along his feet I'm going to put some glue, because that way his bottom part is already going to be on dimensionals. Oh, here, let me take this off. I'm getting all flustered because I forgot my paper. Okay, so there he is. Then I have the sentiment, let your heart be light. It is on dimensionals as well. So we'll take those off, the backings. And we'll put that, I think I had it so it fit right there. And then we're going to open this up. Here's our inside. Going to lay it down, even it up with our flap on the outside. Oops. Line it back up again. And then just like we did with the other card, with the Joy Fold, we're going to just fold that down and press. And there's our card. It's just that easy. except I bet you won't forget your pattern paper. So as I said, the measurements for this card and the Joyfold card will be found on my corresponding blog post, and the link to that blog post will be found in the description of this video. So here is the cut and flip flap card. And here are two Joyfold cards. And as you see, it doesn't really take that long to make either one of these cards. So, you know, if you want to make some funfold cards and you're feeling like you're running out of time before Christmas, why not give these a try? Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, stamp happy.